Yeah. Yellow. Welcome back, everyone. It's been not that long, but we're back with another episode here of Wickscraft. This is episode 15, actually. So last episode, we were out at Journey over there, that little game that I'm putting together. And this episode, the plan is to continue working on that and actually get the interior of the Pantheon figured out. If you didn't see the last video, go check that out. But the reason I am here and not there is because that interior requires a couple thousand quartz and some other materials, quite a few materials that I will be using to decorate the interior of that building. So I'm actually going to have to spend quite a bit of time gathering some resources around the base. And then I also might do a little cleaning up around here. But basically, I've just been over here trading iron and getting emeralds and getting quartz and kind of stocking up a little bit. I've got a little bit more already over there, but I need quite a bit more. So that's what I'm going to do now, is gather a few more resources. And then once I have what I need, I'm going to come back and we're going to start building the interior of the Pantheon. And here we are, back at the Pantheon. I have gathered many a resource over there, and I have everything I need now to be able to start building the inside of this. And so what we're going to do is go ahead and do that. It's time to say goodbye to this weird, empty-looking shell thing around here. And we're basically going to be creating another layer that's offset 3 or 4 blocks in around the perimeter here that's going to be separated from the exterior, which is something that the Romans actually kind of created, the ancient Romans, and it's kind of a huge staple of ancient Roman architecture. So I wanted to try to capture that as best I could, and we'll talk about what these things actually mean once we get into it. But there is some significance. I know I talked about last episode that there's some people like buried in this building. And stuff like that. But right now, I think I just need to get working on this and start grinding, and hopefully I'll be able to get this done relatively quickly, and we might have time for some other fun stuff this episode. So let's get going and see what we can do, and I will be right back. Alright, y'all, we're back. I did it. I finished the inside of the Pantheon. Now it's finally time to go in and take a look. I want to start from out here and sort of walk in slowly. So I did try again to make this as realistic as possible, you know, close to the real life thing. But I also had to take a couple liberties with making sure that it's going to work for the game and everything like that. But essentially it's pretty close. I also changed up a few things just to make it look cooler and whatnot. But let's talk about it when we go in there. All right, so here it is. Walking in the front, we've got some cool painting. You see I've got some of the new ones here from the latest update. That one and that one. This one's super cool. Ancient, ominous feeling vibe. And in we go. So here it is. Boom. So basically, the first thing you'll probably notice is, like I was talking about before, this is a totally separate wall from the outside wall. There's a little space sort of in between here where you can kind of run around, and you can see really the difference between the exterior and the interior. But let's take a look at sort of all the different features in here. So I want to start with the bottom and we'll work our way up. So these are all indicative of tombs, which is kind of the layout of how it looks in the actual Pantheon. Like I said, there was a bunch of like really famous people that are buried here and all that stuff. So that's what those are in, you know, the real life scheme of things. I'm going to talk about the game here in a second, but as we kind of work our way up, there's some granite and calcite wrapping around the outside. Lots of like really decorative things going on here. Same thing happening in real life, and it's just really supposed to be super like fancy and like elegant looking, and so that's kind of what we were going for there. And then this top part, this is where it actually differs a little bit from the real thing. The actual building has these little indents right here. These are called coffers. And so in the actual building, they are in there, and I'll show a picture of that now. But the other thing about this ceiling is that apparently it was supposed to symbolize like the vault of the heavens or something like that. What I did with that was I tried to make this look like the sky. So like looking into the heavens, you know, whatever, looking into the constellations, the stars and stuff like that. So I tried to make it look like the night sky. And so what I've done is I put skulk all the way around on the inside of all these. And then occasionally we've got like some frog lights and stuff like that for the stars. And so that's what that is supposed to sort of symbolize and look like. Another thing to talk about is the oculus. I mentioned that's what that was. The little hole there. Couple things to say about that. One is that rain actually falls through that in real life and it falls onto the floor, and so there's a slope in the floor and some drains to catch all the rainwater that comes through there. The other thing to note is that the sun shines through it and it kind of gives you like a sundial effect and can give you an idea of what time of day it is, which is kind of cool. It also helps to cool the building off and allows for ventilation throughout the building. Okay, so now that we got all the architecture stuff out of the way, let's talk about this game a little bit and how this is going to work. So on the interior here, there's a few things that are going to be happening in this main big building in the center. So the first one that you probably noticed is this big hole in the middle. This is not accurate to the real life building. This is something that is completely because of the game. And what's going to go down here is a map basically of the entire area. So what I'm going to do is put in glass on this level right here. And so you're going to be able to walk over and take a look at the map. And I'm going to have like little tags for each of the buildings that are going out here. And then probably some for the levels as well, showing the players where things are at based on if you're standing in this middle of this circle right here. So this is just going to help to kind of orient the players around the map and the different buildings and what's going to be going on the outside and in the different circles. Okay, so that's like the big main sort of central point to this build. But for such a big building, it makes sense to also have a couple other things going on throughout this central area here. So the second thing that this is going to be used for kind of piggybacks off of the idea of the map in the middle. It's going to be orientation between the different levels, and so for each of these doors they're going to lead directly to a level. So that's going to be level 1 right there, for example, and 2 and 3 and so on. And so at each of these doors, and I haven't figured out exactly how this is going to look yet, but I'm going to put the level number and probably a color to symbolize that level. That way players know which way to go and sort of where they are, because it can get a little bit disorienting in here when you're kind of walking around and trying to figure out like what direction is which. So that's something that's going to be happening there. Another thing that's going to happen in here, and I had a couple different ideas for this, but I have to do something with these sort of like shrine areas on each of the walls. And so my first idea was to have players put their items. I was going to put like a barrel right here and have players put their items in that barrel. But there's a couple reasons that I don't necessarily think I'm going to do that. And we'll get to that a little bit later, but it all has to do with the bank, which is going to be going out the back there. And that's going to be where I'm going to want all the players, I think, to store their items. And basically how it's going to work, just real simple, is you're going to put your items in a shulker box, put your key in to the bank, and then it's going to shoot out a game shulker box, basically, that's going to have all your game items in it. That way you can switch between the items that you need in the game and the items that you need, you know, outside in the world pretty easily, and it makes a lot of sense to do it that way. And that way you can only have the items in the game, and you can only have the items out of the game. If that makes any sense, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So instead of doing storage in all of these, there's another part of this, which is rewards. So throughout this game, while players are playing through it, they're going to be getting different rewards. And each of these rewards has been grouped into 10 different tiers. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is have the tiers be labeled on each of these different sections. So for example, I'll do like a green armor up here, and it'll have like tier 1. And then this one will be like a little bit more yellowish green, and that'll be tier 2, etc., etc. And that's going to be like maybe a lectern or something. I haven't decided exactly, but it's going to be something that the player can go and read and be like, okay, if I get a tier 3 reward, these are the things I'm going to get. And those things are going to vary pretty drastically between, you know, different levels and different challenges and stuff like that, which I'll get into a little bit later. But I think that's what I'm going to use these for in here. And so that's kind of the game function of this area, and that's sort of how it's going to work. Next, I'm going to start building stuff on the outside of this. One other thing to note is that these are actually in here, these false windows. So that's actually a real feature of the building. And so something that I added in here, and I think it looks really good. So if you guys notice, I was talking a little bit earlier about frog lights. I have a bunch of frog lights up in the roof here, and you might be thinking, oh man, where did you get the frog lights? Shorty and I and Rank actually went and made a shop and a farm for the frog lights. And so let's go over and check that out. And then I also went over and talked to Justin and Brady, and we have some big plans going on. And I helped Justin out with a little bit of redstone in a new segment I'm going to call, I'll let the intro to the segment speak for itself. So let's head over, do those couple things, and I will be right back. Whoa. Oh, yes. I found the white one. There's one. Let's go find. Oh, there's your buddy over there. All right, fellas. Here we go. Dimensional travel. Aw, hey guys. We're here. Here we go. Get it, boys and girls. He's going real slow. He's going for it. Hey. Oh, frog! Get him! Get him, Rank! Oh my gosh, he did good. Whoa! Okay, so this is where I had to apologize. My sound got messed up and it didn't pick up Justin or Brady on this clip. But basically what happened is Justin asked me for some redstone advice, so I went over to his base and fixed it up lickety-split. To be fair, he kind of already knew the answer, but basically he had some items in his sorting system that were combining with each other and like nearby water streams and stuff like that, so we moved them and fixed it up and it was working no problem. Then he showed Brady and I his new meeting room where we discussed and put to rest many things, including our full plans for finishing up the library in the shopping district. After that, we all went to Spawn, did a little work on the library, and I have to say it's coming along. We're going to continue to work on that project as we go along, so soon enough it'll be in a place where everyone can find what they're looking for in the shopping district. Oh, and we also did this epic flyaway for dramatic effect, which I guess was a little bit ruined by the fact that you can't actually hear either of them talking during this clip, but I bet we can find some good times to use this with triumphant things happening in the future. All in all, we had a good time, got some stuff done, and solidified some big plans for the future. With that, let's head back to Journey, and I've got something else kind of cool to show you. Alright, so here we are back in Journey, and as you can see behind me, I've made a couple little changes. Nothing huge, but this is kind of the idea that I was going for and what it's sort of going to look like in here with all these armor stands decorated out. So for example, this is going to be like the tier 1 rewards, and it's green, and then we've got like a little bit lighter yellow, and then we've got all the way up to, 5 and 6, and then 7, 8, and then 9 and 10 in this enchanted red gear over here. So this is where players are just going to be able to go up and read about what sort of tiers are associated with the types of challenges they're doing. So each challenge is going to have like a difficulty and then also a reward tier, and a lot of times they're going to be the same. So like if you get like a 3 difficulty challenge, like you're probably going to get tier 3 rewards or something like that, or something within the range of tier 3 rewards. So these are all kind of like different ranges. For example, I'll get to it a little bit later what they actually are, but that's the idea. Okay, with all that said, there's only one thing left I want to show you guys, and that is back at the shopping district. Actually, a couple of things I want to show you. First of all, we did a little bit more work on the library over here. It's in a weird phase right now where it just looks like a big face on the side. Kind of looks like a Squidward or something like that. So, building process, you give it some time, We'll decorate it up and do some more texturing and whatnot. But we got good ideas for this, and we're going to keep working on it. But the other thing that has popped up that Shorty and Rank built was this Froglight shop to go with our Froglight farm. So back over here in this little swampy area, there's this sweet little Froglight hut thing, and it's looking pretty cool. So you just come in here, you got the lily pads and everything, go up, and up here is where all the Froglights are, and we're selling them all 32 for a diamond. So if anybody's watching and you want some Froglights, stop on by. That's going to do it for me today, you guys. Thanks for watching. Please come back and see the rest of the series because there are some big plans coming up, and we are going to get started on that next episode. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you can do that too. Thanks again, and I'll see y'all next time. I was gonna say, if you have dark oak wooden trapdoor in your system, we got other issues. No. Well, you did not specify. Now did you? Oh, damn it, bro. I worked all night for that stack of wool, man. The sheep have been sheared raw for that. Throw me a bundle, I swear to God. Yeah, it's very big. I'm gonna need 3 buckets of water, 2 glass, 1 ice, and that guy's leg.